ako kasi ganito, Sara doesn't see any point anymore to defend herself. Or her budget. It's already there. And do whatever. Parang si Sara ngayon is do whatever you want. Parang, okay, do whatever you want. You want to contempt me? You want to impeach me? Kasi, I don't care. Parang siya is, kung gusto niyo yung position ng Vice President, get it. If you would like the position of the President, get it. Do whatever you want from... Kasi everything that they're doing here is for 2028. Wala pa akong kaalyado na. And I don't care kung may kaalyado ako o wala.
Wala.
Wala na akong pakailangan. If gusto niyo bigyan ng budget ang Office of the Vice President, go ahead. Kung ayaw niyo bigyan, go ahead. Option 1, pag in-approve niyo yung budget ni Sara, as it is, despite yung ginawa niya sa inyo, kayo ang natalo ni Sara. Kung naman sa kabila, tatanggalin niyo yung budget na maraming budget ni Sara. Yan na ang parting of the Red Sea. At as early as now, magkakaalaman na. Di ba? Magkakaalaman na. Di ba? So, either way, panalo si Sara.
Correct.
I'm going to call this episode The Emancipation of Inday Sara. Why do you think that this is the emancipation of Inday Sara? Kailangan may mga magpaakyat tayo. Yan ang topic natin. Sara Duterte gave us a lot of materials. Guys, i-download nyo to ha. Joey,
manifestation on my part. Kind indulgence of my colleagues. Kanina po nabanggit ang pangalan ko kasama ni Kong Franz. Nung meron pong nagtanong kung bakit may 125 million para sa fourth quarter taong 2023 na hindi po ginamit ng ating pangalawang Pangulo. Nabanggit ang pangalan ko. I believe ang sinabi po ni Madam Vice President is that tila may lumalabas na po na pattern simula nung araw na nagsagutan po kami sa plenaryo na lumabas po na 11 days lamang ang period na kung saan ginamit po ang pondo amounting to 125 million. I just want to state for the record that that was in no way planned action. That was the most difficult moment in my 5 years in Congress. Tinanong ako ng isang tanong, I just had to say the truth. Nakabase sa liquidation report at kitang-kita nyo naman, doon po sa nakakita na po ng notice of disallowance na ginamit po siya from December 21 to 31 at pagbilangin po natin ang mga araw na yan mula 21 hanggang 31 ay indeed.
Iiyak na si Madam Chair.
So yun lang po, I just want to state that on record.
Yeah, because it was given during the day.
Simula nung moment na yon ay naging napakahirap ng buhay ko. No rational human being would ever want to plan her life that way.
No, you deserve it, Stella.
Absolutely no
you
way.
Deserve it.
You know it.
On my part, just for the record. And so
I
move on to
guys, please download this. Girl,
Honorable Raul Manuel is recognized.
Grabe,
Madam Chair, kasi I started with questions on the DepEd confidential funds for 2023. Tingin ko, Madam Chair, if the resource person is proud of her accomplishments sa counterinsurgency tsaka anti-terror efforts, she should avail of this opportunity to explain. Sana, kasi di naman na siya kasama sa upcoming DepEd budget briefing. This will also set a bad precedent na kung nag-resign ka sa isang posisyon ay hindi ka na pwedeng matanong sa kung paano ka gumamit ng pondo na ikaw din naman yung nag-propose. Also, Madam Chair, yung DepEd confidential funds, that's in line with her role as NTFL co-vice chair, kahit nga wala naman yung posisyon na yun sa EO70 of 2018. Pero given na ganun ka-aktibo ang vice-presidente sa ganung usapin. So Madam Chair, again, gusto lang natin i-present na yung table natin kanina kasi doon natin mapapakita na meron ding lumilitaw na pattern gaya ng na-raise ni Congresswoman Sonsing dito naman sa DepEd confidential funds, may pattern din. So ma-present po sana natin ang table. Ayan. Balik po. Ayan, oo. 37.5 million no, sa bawat quarter. Ganun po ka-exact, Madam Chair. Pero similarly, sa nabanggit din kanina ni Kong Rog, kahit sa DepEd, Madam Chair, for 2023, fourth quarter, hindi na rin ginamit yung confidential funds for DepEd. Kaya, Madam Chair, can we confirm sa part po ng COA, I'll address this question to COA, na nag-issue po kayo ng audit observation memo for DepEd confidential funds for third quarter of 2023.
They have shown this like X number of times
Madam Vice
already.
President.
It's
Sorry,
true.
Same sheet.
ASCOM.
Ulit-ulit lang.
Madam Chair,
Stick to the plan.
personal knowledge
Stick
about
to
the
the plan.
audit of Intel and confidential funds, but maybe it's in the compliance report submitted by COA to the subpoena issued by the House of Representatives.
So hindi po, wala pong knowledge ang ating rep ngayon from COA na nabanggit po doon, and I quote, the propriety of the transactions could not be ascertained as the submitted liquidation reports were not fully supported with complete and proper documentations as required under Joint Circular number 2015-01. Hindi po ninyo yun makakonfirm?
ASCOM.
Hindi po ako nag-audit. Selected lang po yung...
But you
unit lang.
represent the agency in this budget briefing. So supposedly you can confirm or ascertain yung ilan sa mga nasa site na galing din naman sa COA.
I have the records, Your Honor, about of the transactions and the details of the audit.
Madam Chair, I think the answer will not suffice. Can we request or even give a brief amount of time from our representative from COA tungkol po sa matter na ito para po ma-confirm nila?
Madam Chair, as already explained earlier, the purpose of my presence here is to give the rationale about the compliance of COA to the subpoena duces tecum. I'm not the official who supervises the Intelligence and Confidential Audit Unit because it is a dedicated unit solely for confidential funds. It could not be seen by other officials except the staff of the Intelligence and Confidential Funds Audit Unit.
Okay, so ganito na lang Madam Chair, since ang basis po natin ay galing din naman sa documents na pinrovide ng COA dahil dun sa ating subpoena duces tecum, then I move Madam Chair na kung meron ng updates from COA regarding the deficiencies of the Office of the Vice President sa DepEd confidential funds for third quarter of 2023, I formally ma-inform po ang Committee on Appropriations. I so move Madam Chair. I reiterate
So,
my motion.
It's an action for
For
DepEd.
COA, Madam
for-
Chair. Yes, to provide us with updates given na meron siyang audit observation memo on that confidential fund. Ibig sabihin, ongoing pa yung evaluation process. Then kapag may mga updates ay formally i-provide yon sa committee, Madam Chair.
Before we rule on the motion, ASCOM, is this something that can be done?
If it's a pending audit, it is within the exception of the COA circular on the release of documents.
I said na Madam Chair after, ibig sabihin pag may mga concrete updates na, saka mag-provide ng update sa committee na ito. So we will allow COA to proceed with due course sa dapat pa niyang gawin after that audit observation memo. Tapos kung may concrete updates, Madam Chair, yun yung i-provide dito sa committee.
Okay, so ASCOM, could you
Yes,
submit as required by the Honorable Manuel?
Madam Chair, we will wait for the official document from the from the Committee on Appropriations, and then we will study it and comply if there's no legal impediment or violation of our own rules.
Is that a sufficient response?
Yeah, I think that would suffice, Madam Chair. Thank you. Next topic, Madam Chair, since ang gusto ng OVP ay 2025 budget, mapag-usapan din natin siya maliban dun sa past budgets. Madam Chair, I'd like to discuss yung 10 million peso project na children's book. Madam Chair, dahil ayaw din po ng resource person ng question and answer, then ang paraan ko na lang po ay hindi pa tanong. Tell the committee sino po ang editor ng children's book na ito.
Madam Vice President?
Madam Chair, all the answers are, wala yan doon sa opening statement. I will forgo the opportunity to defend the Office of the Vice President 2025 budget proposal by question and answer. And I will
Madam
leave
Chair, I
it to
did
the
not
House
ask
of
a question. I
Representatives
told the
to
resource
decide the
person to
proposal
tell this
as
committee the
presented.
name of the auditor of the children's book.
Yun ang nangyayari kapag
Honorable
hindi
I
na
didn't ask a question. I asked the resource person to tell the name. Pero baka hindi pa nadidistinguish ano yung tanong, ano yung hindi. Pero since ayaw pong ibigay yung name ng editor ng children's book, ito kasi yung point natin, Madam Chair. The book contains many errors. Sige po, pakita po natin. Kasama po dyan dahon ng banahaw. Wala naman pong dahon ng banahaw, baka anahaw po din tukoy. Yung word na sila, dapat po sina. Tapos yung walang awa, dapat nga may hyphen po yan. Tapos Madam Chair, nakalagay din yung pugad daw ng huwago ay nakapatong sa sanga. Madam Chair, sabi ng mga eksperto, ang owl's nest hindi po ay nakapatong sa sanga. Nasa either butas po yan ng mga puno or nasa ilalim ng lupa. Next, Madam Chair, this book is not child-friendly as per writers kasi pag children's book, Madam Chair, hindi lang yung text yung mahalaga, pati yung visuals, Madam Chair. So, yung illustrations are not cohesive, parang yung elements pinatong lang sa background, tapos low value ito for illustrations kasi, Madam Chair, kahit nga yung pangalan ng illustrators ay maliit compared dun sa pangalan ng author. Well, in fact, for a children's book, magkasing bigat po ang papel ng illustrator tsaka ng author. Also, Madam Chair, sa content, nag-i-impose po siya na kung paano dapat umasta ang isang kaibigan. But, Madam Chair, for children's books, dapat hindi siya nag-impose ng anumang bagay sa bata. It should be fun. Masaya lang dapat yung bata na binabasa yung libro. So, Madam Chair, this book, na-propose.
Noong 90s kami may pambata. Yung kawikaan ni Lolo.
Gusto ng resource person, we limit to the 2025 budget, pero hindi pa rin sinasagot. But this book, Madam Chair, will just contribute to the worsening of the learning crisis. Hindi po siya actually ay makabata. Kaya, Madam Chair, before I end sa second round, kasi kanina meron din pong ad hominem sa atin, meron pang disinformation about this representation. Madam Chair, kung okay lang naman yung mga libro at kung totoo pa kayong sinasabi about me, I would even suggest sa OVP, dagdagan yung budget, baka makalimang libro pa ang Vice Presidente. Pwede pa nga may special edition tungkol sa kwento ng buhay ko. Pero given, Madam Chair, na hindi din talaga pumapasa sa standards ng pagsusulat ng libro, and I also think, Madam Chair, na throughout this hearing, hindi successfully na-defend yung budget ng Office of the Vice President. So ako, personally, I'm inclined na hindi natin i-terminate yung budget briefing for the Office of the Vice President. So yun na lang muna, Madam Chair. Maraming salamat.
Mag-i-terminate, pero...
Yes,
Ano?
Vice President.
Yes. The name of the editor of the book is Raul Manuel. It's a joke, ma'am. You strike it out of the record if you want.
The editor of the book is Raul Manuel.
Next to interpolate is the Honorable Jefferson Konghon.
Good evening, Madam Chair. Good evening, VP. I take a strong exception do sa sinabi ni VP kanina na nagkakabuhol-buhol na yung script. Kasi sa totoo lang, wala naman tayong script dito.
Pero may binabasa siya.
Sabihin ng ating VP, is she accusing Congress? Ang sa akin lang is dapat ready i-prove ang ating Vice President. Otherwise, we should strike it off the record. So may I move right now to strike it off the record, Madam Chair? Yung salitang nagkakabuhol-buhol na yung script.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, same is approved.
Second, Vice Chair, nakakalungkot kasi nandito tayo lahat para tayo malinawan kung ano talaga yung nangyari, lalong-lalo na sa budget ng Vice President pagdating sa confidential fund and yung budget niya ngayong 2025. Kaya lang, hindi na rin ako magtatanong kasi alam ko, paulit-ulit din yung kanyang isasagot. So nakaka-frustrate lang dahil ito ay pera ng taong bayan. I would like to thank the Vice President for showing her true colors to the House and her lack of respect for check and balances and the separation of powers and accountability. We are a republic. We don't have a king or a queen. Now, Madam Chair, dahil hindi naman masagot ni VP Sara yung mga katanungan ng miyembro, may I move now to defer the hearing of the budget of the Office of the Vice President. I so move, Mr.
Is there any objection? Hearing none, same is approved.
Sige, defer ninyo, sir. There's gonna be another session. That's good.
Hearing or the briefing, the budget briefing, shall be rescheduled or shall continue on September 10.
Very good.
So with that, the budget briefing is suspended.
Excuse me, Madam Chair. Madam Chair, I still have the time. Can I express my time?
Well, there was a motion to
but I have
defer.
still a time. Just for 1 minute. I just want to ask the Vice President. About something.
Madam Chair, let's give him the chance. I think we should first withdraw the motion to defer. Then give him a chance to ask question, Madam Chair.
Suspended na po tayo. But then, we're second part is on September 10 at 9 a.m.
Just for 1 minute. For 1 minute. Just for 1 minute. Just for 1 minute, because I just want to ask the Vice President something.
Wala na, pinagbigyan siya.
Hindi na siya pinagbigyan, no?
Hindi na siya pinagbigyan. Sa ano na lang, sa September 10 na lang.
Tapos ang invitation na doon, the Vice President and the other officials.
Hindi na mag-isa.
Paki-download na to.
Download na nitong live. Ay, nitong maganda sa ibang channel kasi yung sa Congress, pangit ng kopya, ginuguro-guro nila eh.
Sa YouTube.
Oo. Ayan, nakakaloka. Anong masasabi mo, Cosmological Woman of the Universe, USN?
Well, ako kasi ganito, Sarah doesn't see any point anymore to defend herself. Or her budget. It's already there. And do whatever. Parang si Sarah ngayon is do whatever you want. Parang, okay, do whatever you want. You want to contempt me. You want to impeach me. Kasi, I don't care. Parang siya is, kung gusto niyo yung position ng Vice President, get it. If you would like the position of the President, get it. Do whatever you want from. Kasi everything that they're doing here is for 2028. That is as simple as that. Everything that, ito yung hindi nagawa ni Binay. Hindi nagawa ni Binay yung ginawa na ngayon ni Sara Duterte. Kasi si Binay noon, he was still trying to form coalition. Kasi he wanted to be president. Binay wanted to be president talaga.
He wasn't, yung kay Binay kasi, he can't do this kasi he can't let go of the idea of becoming a president.
Yes, he cannot let go of the idea of being a president. Ngayon si Sara, wala na akong pakialam. If I become president in 2028, wala akong pakialam. If you would like to impeach me, wala akong pakialam. So, nandun na sa mindset si Sara. Kaya ito,
that's why it's really dangerous for them, di ba? Na parang, you are dealing with a woman who has nothing to lose.
Who has nothing to lose. Wala na siya eh. Kasi, di ba sabi nga ni Digong, nag-vice president ka na, Sara, okay na yan. Nag-gets din nyo? Kasi nga, nakagawa na sila sa history. This is the first time in political history. President, after mag-president ng tatay mo, naging vice president ka. This will never be repeated anymore in our lifetime. As simple as that. It cannot be repeated anymore in our lifetime. So ngayon,
and this kind of mindset of Inday Sara, the Congress has nothing on her.
Nothing on her nga. Kaya nga si Vice President, si Vice President Inday Sara, wala na siyang pakialam. Sirain niyo siya. Wala na siyang pakialam kasi she doesn't care about being president. Look at her. Look at the optics. No? Mag-isa lang siya. That is presenting to us, to the people na wala pa akong kaalyado na. And I don't care kung may kaalyado ako o wala.
Wala.
Wala na akong pakialam. If gusto nyo bigyan ng budget ang Office of the Vice President, go ahead. Kung ayaw nyo bigyan, go ahead. Alam mo yon, she doesn't care na ipa-impeach siya. Go ahead. So, it doesn't really matter to her anymore whether she becomes president or not. Ngayon, yung mga congressman na to, everything that they said there are good materials.
Yes.
Nag-gets niyo? Sara made them speak something that can be used against all those congressmen.
In posterity.
Actually, ngayon pa nga lang eh. Kaya pwede nyo i-download, di ba? I-download nyo naman ngayon. Di ba? Anong sabi nung kailangan i-scrutinize ang budget, kailangan malaman ng taong bayan kung paano naman ginagamit ng bawat official ang budget.
True. Actually yung atake nila na for example, the hypocrisy of Benny Abante na, do we have the power? And this guy forgot na, Bax, ang power nyo is, power of the purse, and that's it. That's it. Diba? Yun yung power nyo kay Inday Sara, yun yung control nyo sa kanya. That's it, pansit. O ngayon, si Inday Sara, wala na siyang pake. You decide you want to give me the budget, you don't want to give me the budget. She doesn't care. She still performs her most basic duty of facing you all, but she's not interested in defending it.
Yeah, she's not interested in defending the budget nga. Kung ayaw niyo, kasi yung lahat ng linya ng question is replication. Yung isa yung RISA, kung ano yung sinabi ni RISA noon, replication ng mga ginagawa ng ibang agency, and then confidential fund. Yun yung dalawa eh. Tapos ngayon, yung book, and then the book, di ba? And the book. Ngayon, si Sara, I don't care. Hindi ko na nga siya i-defend, di ba? I defer. Sinabi niya, I defer the right to defend my budget. Yun ang sinasabi niya, I defer the right to defend my budget. Ang ginagawa ng mga congressman, hindi, ituloy pa rin natin to. Let's stick to the plan.
And then they're trying to, yung sobrang nipis na nung kanilang pinanghahawakan na, no, because this is public fund, I mean, sobrang nipis na. Kasi parang, ganun kayo ka-concern, pwede nga naman tanggalin lahat ng pera ni VP. Diba?
Wala rin. Sinabi na nga ni Inday na dinedefer niya na ang karapatan niya to defend the budget. Okay? Wala na, I defer the opportunity to defend the budget. Bahala na kayo. Sinabi niya, bahala na kayo. Ay, hindi, tuloy pa rin natin to. Gusto namin tanungin ka. Dinefer na nga eh. Dinefer niya na. Ano pa ba yung gusto mo? Hindi kailangan malaman ng taong bayan. Ano
and it makes them, it becomes clear that you have an agenda.
You have an agenda. Kaya sabi niya,
she deferred she deferred the budget, the opportunity to defend the budget. You still want to go through your scripts of talking about confidential fund has nothing to do with the 2024 budget. It doesn't make you look like concerned on public funds. You are more concerned in perpetuating your confidential fund.
Yung book, yung replication, saka yung kita mo si Raul Manuel, di ba? Hinabol pa talaga yung libro. Di ba? Hinabol pa niya, di ba? Kasi nga, nasilinyahan ng questioning ngayon eh. No? At ngayon, sabi niya, inano siya ni Inday, o di ikaw ang editor, inedit ko na. Di ba? So, ang ano nito is, na-reveal na you have an agenda. Sinabi na nga ni Sara, bahala na kayo. Kung anong makita nyo mali, bahala na kayo. Hindi na natin kailangan mag-question and answer. Kasi kung ang decision nyo is ayaw nyo, edi ayaw nyo. Ngayon, kung magtatanong kayo, pero ayaw nyo naman pala na ibigay yung budget na yan, bakit kailangan magtanong? Nagigets mo? Why do you need to waste this time? Yun ang inaano niya. Kasi nga, sabi ni Sara, kasi nga, meron kayong plan. Meron kayong agenda. Diba? So ngayon, dinefer ko na nga. Talagang paulit-ulit ako kasi nga, di ba sinabi ko, I deferred the opportunity. So pag sinabi ko na, hindi ko na i-defend, i-defer ko na, and you keep on asking me, bakla, what's the point? Dinefer ko na nga yung opportunity. Ano ba itong point ng pagtatanong mo? Hindi para sukayan itong pagtatanong. Ang responsibilidad mo sa bayan ay i-approve yung budget o hindi.
Hindi.
Ngayon, alam mo na, nakita mo na, may mga tanong ka na, ikaw na bahala. Pag na-aprobahan yung budget, you already fulfilled your mandate sa public. You fulfilled your oversight. And the rest of it is politicking.
Okay? Correct. Actually, one point also, because Inday has nothing to lose. Nothing. And, she's sige, approve nyo, i-approve, wala na akong paki dyan, ganyan. Because she has nothing to lose. And she doesn't have her mind set is already gearing towards I do not give a fuck. Now those congressmen who are going to align to her, diba, are basically operating on principles. Wala sila mahita kay Inday. But those congressmen who we saw today, who are quite rational in the approach doon sa budget hearing, reminding them of ang
public money is scrutinized kahit sinong official ka pa para malaman ng taong bayan kung paano ginastos ang pera nila, di ba? Ganyan ang linyahan nila.
Pati yung mga yung mga I can see some few representatives a while ago who are raising the impropriety of the confidential fund issue being injected in the budget deliberation. Kasi, di ba, kagaya nga sinabi ni GMA, why are we talking about the 2023 budget? That the 2023 budget is already deliberated upon during the 2024 budget. Pinag-usapan na natin ng bonggang-bongga yan. In fact, we actually decided in 2024 to remove the confidential fund. So what's your problem? Why do you still insist? Why do you still ask for a COA report? Why do you still want to know anything about the Supreme Court? That is not part of your supposed budget deliberation. Diba? There are some representatives who are actually quite rational when it comes to parang when they try to assess the rationality of or the propriety of the insertion of confidential fund matters. I mean, kaya nga naging paulit-ulit yung ni Inday eh. So, ilang congressman yung naka sa kanya, yung parang sumuporta kay Inday dun sa ganung klaseng laban dun sa ganung klaseng pag-iisip. And these people, they're operating on principle na ito yung tamang proseso, ito yung whether that is favorable to Inday or not, or they're doing it because they like Inday or not, I do not know. Pero yung mga ganong klaseng congressmen na naiintindihan yung proseso, kahit paano, makikita mo na, okay, so mahati talaga yung dagat dito. Sino dito yung meron pang natitirang prinsipyo. That principle doesn't mean they are defending Inday or what yung proper lang. Sino pa dito sa mga kongresistang ito ang willing to really look at the procedure, look at what is proper, and sino dito yung ang full on attack dog mode on the confidential fund issue? Diba?
Yeah. Hanapin nyo nga yung video ni Digong, yung nagde-demand siya na show me I will go to Congress with the farmers, with every farmer. Pwede pakihanap yung video na yon. Tapos gusto ko kasi mag-edit ako, ang ganda nito ipagpatong-patong.
Tama, pakisend naman.
Pakisend yan.
That was yung hindi mo pera yan was a response to that call eh.
Nauna pa tayo, girl.
Ha?
Nauna pa tayo.
Nauna pa ba tayo doon?
Naunang hindi mo pera yan. Pero wala pa kami script ni Digong noon
Oo.
Spontaneous yun, spontaneous. Pakihanap yung
PRRD na di ba? Yung parang you are the most corrupt. Di ba yung the HOR is the most corrupt institution, ineme, ayan.
Oo.
So parang tayo nagkaroon ng interest na busisiin yung budget process ng...
Yes. Hindi ba sabi ko nga sa inyo, etong hindi mo pera yan, this will never leave the House of Representatives. Every year yan. Every year. Kaya sabi ko sa inyo, sabihin niyo sa mga anak niyo, if there is any issue or struggle that they should be fighting for, ito yung tapusin na tong kapalaluan ng Kongreso. Huwag niyo lang sabihin na, iboto mo si Sara, iboto mo ganyan. Sabihin niyo, just take this issue. Na kahit mawala na tayo sa mundo, meron pa rin makikipaglaban para sa issue na ito.
Correct. Yung audacity ng yung audacity ng mga congressmen, yung mga representatives kanina to speak about, hindi, because this is public fund, kailangan i-scrutinize, yung mga ganun. That's the line of Arlene Brosas of the Makabayan Bloc and other congressmen na, hindi kailangan itong itanong kasi pera to ng bayan. O, di ba si Benny Abante, umiiyak-iyak pa na, meron ba kaming kapangyarihan na busisiin, ang kineme, ganyan. Of course you do. Kaso nga lang kami, pagka gusto namin busisiin yung pera ninyo, sinasagot nyo ba kami mga putang ina nyo? Diba, Benny Abante? Kayo, may power kayo busisiin kahit pero kami, pagka gusto namin busisiin yung pera ninyo, sinasagot nyo ba kami?
Hindi po pwede yon. Congress will audit itself. Besap ka nakakita ng kumpanya na you will audit yourself. Saan kayo nakakita?
Philippines House of Representatives.
Ang Philippine Congress. Diba? Saan ka nakakita ng isang department that will audit itself and that is it? Pwede ba yun? Ang galing ni Sara kasi si Sara, humahanap kasi sila ng gotcha kay Sara. Si Sara kasi, alam niya na basa niya na. So, ang mangyayari ngayon, the parting of the Red Sea sa approval ng budget ng OVP. Ganito lang yan Ganito ang mga scenario. Scenario tayo, guys. Scenario 1, they will approve the budget of the Vice President even doon na nagrereklamo sila na ganoon ang performance ni Sara. That's 1. Okay? 2, tatanggalin nila yung mga maraming items sa budget ni Sara. It will stream, paliliitin nila yung opisina ng OVP. At
tatanggalin yung mga humanitarian functions.
Lahat. Yung i-slim down ka. Ikalawa. O yung ang ibibigay lang sa kanya, pang sweldo sa sarili mo.
PS lang. Personal services lang.
Personal services. Kalawa. Okay? Yang dalawang scenario na yan, alam mo kung ano yan? That's what you call, it's the devil and the deep blue sea. It's caught between the devil and the deep blue sea.
For them.
Wala lang pakialam si Sara Si Sara, okay siya pareho. Ay, okay ako sa parehong options. Kayo ba okay kayo sa parehong options? Option 1, pag in-approve niya yung budget ni Sara, as it is, despite yung ginawa niya sa inyo, kayo ang natalo ni Sara. Doon naman sa kabila, tatanggalin niyo yung budget na maraming budget ni Sara. Yan na ang parting of the Red Sea. At as early as now, magkakaalaman na. Di ba? Magkakaalaman na. Di ba? So, either way, panalo si Sara.
Correct. True. Ganyan mag-isip si Bobo Marcos at from Espanya, another failure. Lagot kayo, yan ang kaibigan na babalik. May mga maraming warning shots si Inday. Because she has nothing to lose. And because a lot of bullets in her armory. She becomes a very difficult foe. Diba? Unang-una, kung gusto mo siyang sirain kasi ayaw niya magpresidente, ayaw naman talaga niya magpresidente. Hindi man talaga siya interesado. Diba? Hindi man talaga siya interesado. Ngayon, Inday actually, ma-notice mo rin kanina, nung first part hindi ko alam Sas kung napanood mo na yung first part, na abutan mo ba yung start, yung pinaka-start niya?
Girl, ilang oras ang budget deliberation ng Congress? Anong oras na nag-umpisa?
Nag-start parang mga around 3 p.m. 2:30, oo, 2:30, ganun. Hanggang
7?
Yeah, oo.
Limang oras?
Yung first part.
Ano ba opening ni Sara? Papanood ka ng opening statement ni Sara. Hindi ko na panood yung first part.
Yung first part kasi, alam mo talagang sila, they were scared. After nung opening statement ni Inday Sara, they were really scared. Ayun. Teka lang
So, ang na-witness na natin dito, Digong 2016. Di ba si Digong, wala akong pakialam kahit iboto nyo ko hindi. Sasabihin ko yung gusto kong sabihin. Di ba? Kaya kasi, si Digong ang kauna-unahang tumakbong politiko na walang ibang ginawa kundi magmura, maglabas ng kadumihan sa bibig. Si Sara Duterte ang kauna-unahang vice president na ganyan.
True. Kimi sila nung yung first, talagang the congressmen are they are not very confident in their questions. So parang kaya talaga inuna yung Makabayan Black kasi para bira kagat agad ganon.
Ay girl, magkakaroon ng escalation ng tension. US military will escort PH ships in South China Sea. China will the response of China would definitely, it would also send military ships. And maybe Russia would escort it.
Shit, They are
escalating.
They are really escalating. They are escalating here in Davao. Yung apparently yung temporary order ni
Dapat natatanda mo yung sinabi ko sa iyo, Joey. Mag-prepare ka ng
go to bag.
Yeah, mag-prepare ka na yan kasi tataas. Maraming tataas niyan. Escalating ng South China Sea, escalating tension. A lot of prices will go up. Remember, our fossil fuels are transported through the South China Sea mostly. Pwede naman siya umikot ng Indonesia, but that would require that would be a bit more expensive. So pag nangyari to, expect high inflation.
And there are reports na dun sa hangar ng KOJC may mga Americans. Grabe, no? Hindi ako makamove on dun sa fact na sinabpina nila yung COA in order to provide, in order to give them a copy of the confidential fund report. Kasi, yung sinabmit na yun ni Inday, sinabmit rin niya yun kay Tambi eh. Sinabmit rin niya yun ni Tambi kasi doon sa guideline ng confidential fund audit, Inday must submit confidential fund expenditure report sa COA, COA Confidential Fund Intelligence Fund Audit Unit, sa Office of the President, sa Senate President, at saka sa House Speaker. Kailangan niya mag-submit ng mga reports dun sa mga yun. Anyway, siguro dahil ayaw nilang mapulaan at ayaw nilang they wanted COA to be the one to release the information regardless of its confidentiality and whatever. So, grabe yung dito grabe yung display of lack of independence ng COA dito. Kasi parang, supposedly, hindi kayo dapat hindi you respect the confidentiality of that report. The president doesn't want to breach it. The Senate President doesn't want to breach it. The House of Representatives doesn't want to breach it. And it was only COA who was, as again, we defer to the sound discretion of the House of Representatives. It's not supposed to be on their hands.
We proceed to the second part, which is the opening statement for the budget. Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum, madayaw, maayong adlaw, kaninyong tanan, magandang araw sa inyo lahat. On June 19, 2022, I swear an oath to faithfully and conscientiously fulfill my duties as the Vice President of the Philippines, preserve and defend its Constitution, execute its laws, do justice to every man, and consecrate myself to the service of the nation. It is then my lawful duty to give aid to any person who reaches out to the OVP seeking relief. I must do justice to every man, and I intend to do so. Historically, the medical and burial assistance programs have always been continuing projects of the institution. The legacy projects that we envision, however, includes a permanent office for future vice presidents, a vice president museum, and for the OVP to have its own charter. Unfortunately, the latter projects may never come to fruition given the political climate surrounding the institution. The programs, activities, and projects of the OVP that are original to my term are those that echo my campaign platform of trabaho, edukasyon, at mapayapang pamumuhay. More importantly, these also embody the nature of constant requests and pleas for assistance that we have been receiving in the OVP, majority of which are the medical and burial assistance, followed by assistance for financial difficulties, livelihood, and support for school-related expenses, as well as immediate aid when calamities strike. Aspiring to provide responsive service even to geographically isolated and disadvantaged communities, the OVP established 10 satellite offices, 2 extension offices, a disaster operations center, and extended programs such as the medical and burial assistance, Libreng Sakay, Kalusugan food trucks, and the Pansarap project, Pagbabago, A Million Learners and Trees campaign, Magnegosyo Taday, and relief operations for individuals during crisis and emergencies. These programs fall under the banners of peace, poverty alleviation, calamity response, health, education, and environmental stewardship. These form part of the oath I have taken, as these are repeatedly mentioned and provided for in our Constitution. On the matter of OVP projects being similar to the mandate of other government offices, there is certainly no agency that has the monopoly of government services. No office of the government should be so helpless as to deny assistance to a person in distress. After all, the duty of government is to afford our countrymen with faithful public service. Corollary to this is the issue of politics being involved in relation to the national budget and release of financial assistance. We need not go further than the statement of Senator Amy Marcos during the Senate budget hearing, wherein she corroborated our claim and said, "Ang sasabihin ko lang, hindi naman sa barangay lamang napupolitika ang ayuda, pati dito sa mga senador, pati sa ating pangalawang Pangulo." I shall now address the issues that are germane to the use of public funds. It is my belief that it would be a stretch, if not absurd, to compare the budget of my immediate predecessor to the present budget proposal. We do not have personal knowledge as to why she did not request for a fair budget for her projects. On the issue of security personnel, it must be clarified that during the time of my predecessors, the protection team was only limited to the Vice Presidential Security Detachment. During my term, however, there were legal issuances made by the DND, AFP, PNP, and NAPOLCOM for the creation of the AFP Vice Presidential Security and Protection Group and the PNP Vice Presidential Protection Division. It must also be clarified that the number of security personnel is not determined by the OVP. We are mere recipients of the security personnel detailed to the office. To date, there are no more PNP personnel in the OVP. On the issue of confidential funds, we have received audit actions regarding the confidential funds of the OVP. We have submitted our responses and we assure our full cooperation with the ongoing audit. I am, however, bewildered as to the issues being propagated and the fact that we were able to efficiently utilize funds given to the OVP in December 2022, considering that in the government, usually we disperse millions, if not billions of pesos in a single day. And what makes it even more perplexing is that government agencies are often criticized for low budget utilization rates. For this proposal, as an example, we were even required to explain the low utilization or disbursement rates and present a catch-up plan for such. Turning on the issue of the book I have written, ang libro na pinamagatang Isang Kaibigan ay ginagamit namin sa book donation at book reading or storytelling sessions sa mga paaralang binibisita ko. Isinasagawa namin ito upang mahikayat ang mga bata na mahalin ang pagbabasa at sumulat ng sarili nilang kwento. The inclusion of my name and image on the About the Author page is a common practice for authors and is not intended as a political move. More importantly, the project recipients of the book are elementary students and grade 7 learners. This belies any insinuation of political motives, as they will not even be eligible to vote for 2028. Which then brings us to the matter of impeachment. Bilang isang kaibigan, I will not violate the confidence of a few members of the House of Representatives who have either recorded conversations or participated in shared conversations regarding each impeachment proceedings against me. Nonetheless, this is nothing new. Talks of impeachment have been ongoing for several months now. In fact, a member of the lower house has publicly declared in an interview where she was quoted by the Philippine Daily Inquirer saying that in light of the possible numerous violations of the OVP on the use of the 125 million confidential fund, which is not in the 2022 General Appropriations Act, we are not discounting the fact that it may file an impeachment case against the Vice President. Surprisingly, despite the absence of proof as to any wrongdoing, she already revealed the grounds for impeachments when she was also quoted saying as, especially on the misuse of public funds, technical malversation, and violation of the 1987 Constitution.
Ah, di ba? Meron siyang recording ng mga meron siyang recording iba lang mga members sa nagpapakalat ng kanyang impeachment.
Finally, on the issue of the West Philippine Sea, I stand by the Constitution, which provides that the state shall pursue an independent foreign policy in its relations with other states. The paramount consideration shall be national sovereignty, territorial integrity, national interest, and the right to self-determination. As Filipinos, we are all in agreement that our claim is firmly anchored on the UN Convention on the Law of the Seas and the 2016 Arbitral Award. But we must also bear in mind that bilateral relations are not dictated by a singular issue or concern like a territorial dispute, but rather by a comprehensive approach that considers the broader context of shared interests and regional stability. While silence on specific harassment issues may be perceived as a lack of response, it is essential to recognize that such decisions are made following established mandates and particular responsibilities of relevant agencies. It is well settled that the President is the chief architect of foreign policy. It therefore follows that appropriate agencies are tasked with addressing and implementing measures related to our foreign policy positions and principles. As a reserve officer of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, I sincerely appreciate the sacrifices made by our uniformed personnel in the service of our national interests. However, it is crucial to avoid politicizing their sacrifices for media mileage or social media commentary. Instead, we should focus on ensuring that their efforts are recognized and valued in a manner that respects their contributions and upholds the dignity of their service, which we in the OVP continue to do and have always chosen to do away with the cameras. I shall now proceed to the PowerPoint presentation of the salient points of the OVP budget proposal for fiscal year 2025.
Okay,
I request the Secretariat for the...
Grabe. Hindi siya matanong bigla sa WPS issue, no?
Oh, 'di ba? Inano niya lahat eh. Sinabi niya lahat yung mga ang gusto niyong pag-usapan, confidential fund, libro, WPS, 'di ba? Ano pa nga?
Ang galing ni Inday. Alam mo, this is her turning point. this hearing.
Ako actually, sa totoo lang yung sa ano, yung sa Senate, I think it's really a calculated thing. It is really a calculated thing.
Para dito.
It's really a calculated thing.
Pero I think this one, this is her
this
moment.
Is better. Perhaps this is better executed.
Yeah.
But the Senate one is actually a calculated. It was really a calculated move. It was really
I think
on their part to do it that way.
Hindi, I think kasi yung gustong gawin ni Sara doon sa Senate, ito yung gusto niyang, itong ginawa niya sa Congress. So I think the idea was there in the Senate. The execution, we saw it now sa Congress. Kasi itong sa Congress, all the optics are there. Mag-isa lang siya. She addressed everything. She came prepared with audiovisual, with reports, etc. Everything.
Because Senate was still, the Senate inquiry was more reasonable compared to the House of Representatives budget inquiry. Kasi dito yung chair, for one thing, ang chair doon sa Senate si Grace Poe. Grace Poe would actually acknowledge na, oy, ikaw, Risa, out of line ka naman. In the same manner, na pag kinall out niya si Risa, kukall out niya si Inday. Pag kukall out niya si Inday, kukall out niya si Risa. So may parang dito kay Stella Kibo, which yes, wala siyang ganun.
Well, you know naman.
Hold back lang kay Inday, and then tuloy lang dun sa mga kaalyado niya.
To be fair to Grace Poe, you know, kaya nga mas okay siya na mga ganyan-ganyang trabaho. Magaling kasi si Grace Poe mag-mediate. I think Grace Poe should have an ambassadorial position. After nito. Kasi hindi na siya pwedeng ma-elect eh. I think she would do well there. Magaling na rin siya mag-mediate, si Kibo. But ang ko lang kay Kibo, yung executive function. Wag kang ma-hurt Grace Poe, Senator Grace Poe, pero you're yan ka, yung
Senate. Not her executive position.
Oo, yung Senate mo, yung Senate position mo. You're good in facilitating, mediating. Well, every one of us has a strength and
in the same manner na yung kay Bato, si Bato, I think Bato, if Bato is going to take some executive position, is gonna excel.
I think Bato is a better executive position than Senate.
Than a senator.
Kasi parang si Sara will never do well in Congress and Senate. Kasi Congress and Senate, kailangan mo makipagplastikan dyan.
Hindi siya tatagal.
Araw-araw.
Hindi siya tatagal.
Araw-araw. So, kaya nga, kita mo mga position niya, di ba? Vice President, Mayor. Mas gusto niya, di ba, parang na-interview siya ata before, mas gusto niya maging Mayor kasi yung Vice President, siya yung head ng council. So, para rin siyang Senate. So, para siyang Senate President, di ba, ang Vice President. Senate President ng US. Ay, para siyang Vice President ng US, ang Vice Mayor, siya yung nag-head ng Senate.
Oo. Siya yung nag-head. Parang yun yung nila, yung lawmaking body nila.
Oh, pero ang head, sa US, nun is the Vice President. Dito, ang head is, hindi pala sa US yung Vice President ang head ng Senate, somewhere else. And then, ang eksena dito, I think this is, I'm going to call this episode the emancipation of Inday Sara. Nagigets niyo why do you think that this is the emancipation of Inday Sara? Kailangan may mga magpaakyat tayo. Yan ang topic natin. Why do you think that this may graded visitation to? Pero bago ang lahat, habang binibigay pa ni Joey ang link, babasahin ko muna po ang wise words ng ating mahal na Pangulo tungkol sa TPO, sa Temporary Protection Order, kasi matatalinhaga po ang kanyang mga sinabi.
Meron ako interview dito.
Ni BBM, ng ating mahal na Pangulo.
Ha?
Ng ating mahal na Pangulo.
Ng ating mahal na Pangulo.
Kailangan may paggalang, girl.
Hindi ko siya mahal. Putang ina niya. Wait.
Okay.
Teka ha.
Panoorin muna natin ang wise words ng ating mahal na Pangulo.
Ay, teka. Sorry. History. Ayan.
Sabi, is she freeing someone? Mga be, mag-aral nga kayo ng English kung hindi nyo naintindihan.
Ito. Ayan, ito. Bagong interview ni
Diyos ko, girl, ganun pala. Lapot na lapot siya, girl.
Oo. Oo, lapot na lapot.
Lapot na lapot, oh.
Oo.
Saka bakit? Anyway, no comment. Okay, play.
Sa tingin niyo po ba, may kinalaman ito yung pag-ikot mo sa
gumagalaw na naman yung panga niya, girl.
Well, maybe may kasama na yun, but I think it's because it's a trust rating. It is more na yun nga nakikita naman that we are really doing our best to try to alleviate the hardships na dinadaanan ng mga tao. It's good to have that kind of result or statistic behind you. They just again, every time this happens for us, as far as I'm concerned, is that it seems to be people beginning to understand what we're trying to do. They're beginning to feel the effects of it, and so you must continue to do more and even try to do even better. So that's always an inspiration for me.
Yes. Ano pong masasabi niyo dun sa mga criticism?
Bakit ano siya hirap na hirap huminga?
Adik eh.
Hirap na huminga, no?
Ano yung hingal, ano?
Oo, ano ko lang.
Ano ba? Tumakbo ka ba? Saan ka galing? Tumakbo ka. Humahangos eh.
Okay, play.
Ng human rights ayon sa mga kritiko niyo.
Specify.
Yung daw pong pagde-deploy ng sobrang daming police at saka yung blockade, yung mga nadidisrupt na daw po yung
meron bang human rights violation kung maraming police?
Oh my God.
I don't think so. There's no. Anyway, the reason we did this was so that we could maintain the peace. The only way to maintain the peace is to make sure that the area is safe and is secure. And considering this is a 30-hectare compound.
Wait, pause. Akala ko ba walang kinalaman ang Malacanang?
Oo nga.
And it's a purely police operation.
Police operations.
Okay, play.
Ganang maraming tao. Hindi mo pwedeng gawin ito na isang dosenang pulis. Para hindi na bale yung mga lumalaban o yung mga nagre-resist, nanghaharang, hindi na bale muna yun. Para lang yung pag-inspeksyon ng 30 hectares, kailangan mo na agad ng maraming tao. So I do not see. I think what they are talking about is political na yan. Hindi na totoo yan. You go to any human rights advocate, there's nothing that we did. Lahat ng pumasok na pulis, hindi armado.
Sinungaling to si Bongbong. I was there. I saw policemen with their long firearms. Okay? Nagsisinungaling kang putang ina mo ka. Anong hindi armado? In fact, that's the narrative of Karen Davila as well, ha? Si Karen Davila, pinag-interview niya si CHR, yung CHR Palatok, attorney Palatok, and si attorney Topacio. At ang narrative nito ni Karen Davila, meron daw standoff sa KOJC compound. Paano magkaka-standoff doon? Taga doon sila. Ano standoff yung nagsasabi nitong Diyos me na, anyway.
Hindi yun ang narrative nila, may standoff. Paano standoff? Standoff ng ano? Una raw kumurap, ganon. Kung sinong aalis doon sa bahay nila. Paano magkaka-standoff? Bahay nila yon.
Correct.
Ang bahay nila yon. Saka hindi naman nila pinipigilan yung search. Hello, kitang-kita lahat. Kitang-kita ang kitang-kita ang lahat. Hello, nagsubaybay kami mula sa simula hanggang katapusan. Lahat yan.
Simula nung sinaserve pa lang yung warrant, yung pinapakita pa lang yung papel.
Ngayon nakikita nyo na magkakasabwat na silang lahat ngayon. Di ba magkakasabwat sila? Alam nyo, ang ano natin ngayon, ang condition natin ngayon, katulad nung tumakbo si Digong na presidente. Yun ang ating mindset ngayon. So, sabi niyo, hindi raw armado ang mga pulis na pumasok. O ano yung may mga mahahaba?
True.
Di ba yung Special Action Force? So,
yeah, may SAF. Actually, nung umuwi ako nung I think, Sunday ng gabi.
Ipagpatuloy mo pa.
Oo. May nakita akong SAF at long firearms yung dala nila.
Ituloy mo pa yung pagkasabi niya. Ito nakakatawa.
Walang baril, kahit isa. Hindi kami gumamit ng tear gas. Hindi armado. Walang baril, kahit isa. Hindi kami gumamit ng tear gas. Wala kaming ginawang ganun. So ano yung human rights?
Gumamit ng tear gas.
kitang-kita po ng lahat nung nagbato ng tear gas ang pulis noong linggo ng gabi.
Hello? Pumunta pa, meron, ano pa yan? Ito ang report sa akin ng mga doktor. Okay? Sabihin ko na, kasama siya dun sa doctors dun sa Davao. Babasahin ko lang po ito. 22 individuals inside the KOJC compound are complaining of skin rashes and redness, eye irritation, dizziness, shortness of breath, multiple abrasions following tear gas exposure po since dawn.
Yeah. Malapit kami dun sa area na as in super lapit kami dun sa area nung nagkaroon ng tear gasan. In fact, nandun kami sa stage, sa built, yung sa yung makeshift na stage na ginawa. Pagkatapos, dun sa harap namin, siguro mga 3 meters away doon sa nagsasalita. And then maybe from our site to doon sa tinirgas, mga 10 meters yung pagitan. Malapit lang talaga. Malapit lang talaga. May tear gas. Kaya nga kinabukasan sakit ng lalamunan ko eh.
Hindi. Kailan to interview na to? Anong oras to today? Anyone know?
Today, uploaded.
Lumabas na ba dyan yung TPO?
3 hours ago.
So lumabas na dyan yung TPO?
Yeah, oo, nakalabas na yung TPO.
Kasi umaga pa lang lumabas yung TPO. So hindi yan, walang nag-aalaga sa Pangulo. Hindi pinaalam sa Pangulo. Hindi niya alam.
He doesn't know what's going on. Ayan. Tapusin natin.
Marami lang. Kung kukonti yun, mas marami pang nasaktan. Mas maraming nasaktan na supporter ng Kingdom of Jesus Christ. Maraming nasaktan na pulis. Dahil maglalaban. So, kung marami, itapos ka agad ang problema. So, that's what we done.
Kung marami, tapos agad ang problema? Kung marami,
wala na siya. Bloated na yung mukha niya. Nakabatak to. Play.
So, that's what we done. Yeah.
Surrender na lang po. Surrender na lang po.
Hindi ko nga maintindihan kung bakit dinadamay ni Kibuloy ang mga tauhan niya. Kasi sinasabi niya yung mga tauhan niya. Wala namang kasalanan niya mga yan. They just believe they're looking for an answer, a value system, and they think they have found it with Kibuloy. But they did not sign up to be in the front line of this kind of thing that's happening now, that they will protect him from arrest even when he has cases filed against him, not only.
Nakita niyo na si Bongbong kung gaano kasinungaling. Alam mo, dapat may dapat may download nito.
At, tapos ipapakita side by side yung tear gas,
tapos
yung
ending,
mahaba.
Pwede ba may mag-edit mula dun sa lahat ng pumasok na pulis hindi armado hanggang yung sa hanggang yung tear gas. Tapos side by side. Tapos ang ending scene, si Lenny. Number 1, sinungaling.
Sinungaling.
Please lang po, sana may gumawa.
Girl, diba? Yes, please create that edit yung video na yan.
Bongbong has already lost his mind. Bongbong has already lost his mind kasi we are all watching everything. We're watching everything.
And it looks like he's not really aware, no? Sinabi ko to nung yung immediately after kung nung Saturday ng gabi nung galing ako doon. Wala pang rally, wala pa yung yung protest movement. Saturday ng gabi pag uwi ko, may nakausap ako na worker na eavesdrop nila. Kasi yung mga workers kasi nagkalat sa buong compound. Ngayon, itong si Torre, lagi siyang nasa phone. May naka-eavesdrop na kay OJC member, nakausap niya si Bongbong. Kasi Mr. President daw itong si Bongbong eh. At ang representation niya kay Bongbong is that the pagsuko of Pastor Kibuloy is being facilitated. Yun yung word na ginamit, fina-facilitate na ang pagsuko ni Pastor Kibuloy. Ganon. So, it looks like, I think, what Torre is doing, pinapasakay niya itong Malacanang na he has something. Pagkatapos, ito namang mga tanga sa Malacanang, naniniwala sila that Torre has something for them. So, ngayon si Torre, taing-tain na kung paano mahahanap yung hinahanap niya. He has to do a lot of, he has to resort to a lot of dirty tactics. Like, for example, yung meron siyang pinalabas na, yung proof daw na human trafficker kasi sinundo sa KOJC compound yung nanay at saka yung isang matanda at saka isang bata na sinundo. So parang ngayon biglang nag-press conference ura-urada and immediately pinabulaanan yun ng mga taong involved, Immediately napatunayan yun, pinabulaanan na hindi yun totoo.
Girl, tingnan mo siya manas na manas yung face. Bloated na bloated. Tingnan mo itsura niya.
Hindi siya alam. Hindi nga kumbaga kung ano lang ang sabihin sa kanya ng mga tao, yun na yun. So, tingin ko kaya naniniwala siya na nandun nga si Pastor Kibuloy. Kasi nga sinasabi ni Torre, ina-assure ni Torre. Eh si Torre wala naman. That is why, this is the problem when your president is weak. He will just believe anybody is going to tell him na nang gusto niyang marinig. Diba?
Tingnan mo itsura ni BBM.
Oo.
Tingnan mo itsura ni BBM. Manas na manas yung fes. Ano meron, girl?
Anong na, no?
Batak to, nakabatak.
Pero.
Okay.
Ayun, anyway, sige, continue na natin to.
Only here in the Philippines, but also in the United States. So, I suppose I can understand their disagreement with us, even anger. But what all that the police are doing is enforcing the warrant of arrest against Apollo Kibuloy.
Sir,
That's all they're doing.
Sir, on Alice Go, meron daw po information si Senator Gatchalian na may mga DI personnel na may alam and you were allegedly kept in the dark daw.
Oh, yes, definitely. So DOJ, I was just with the secretary earlier today. It's almost finished with a very thorough investigation.
Obvious na high. So, magpapaakyat na tayo, no, para tayo may mga mag-gradean na.
Ay, ito na meron na. Meron nang ng video.
Papalabas mo.
Ipopost ko. Ayan, number 1, sinungaling.
Diba, manas yung mukha ni mahal na Pangulo.
Ay, ito si front page. Si front page Si front page meron na siyang collage. Meron na siyang edited Wait. Ayan, ito.
Political na yan. Hindi na totoo yan. You go to any human rights advocate, there's nothing that we do. Lahat ng pumasok na pulis, hindi armado. Walang baril, kahit isa. Hindi kami gumamit ng tear gas. Wala kaming ginawang ganun. So ano yung human rights violation? We're talking about is political na yan. Hindi na totoo yan. You go to any human rights advocate, there's nothing that we do. Lahat ng pumasok na pulis, hindi armado. Walang baril, kahit isa. Hindi kami gumamit ng tear gas. Wala kaming ginawang ganun. So ano yung human rights violation? We're talking about is political na yan. Hindi na totoo yan. You go to any human rights advocate, there's nothing that we do. Lahat ng pumasok.
Grabe. He's not giving anything to his supporters, He's not giving anything to his supporters. How can you defend a guy who is deranged?
He's lying.
Baliw lang putang ina.
He's lying.
Tostado na yung utak.
Tostado na yung utak. Bangag na bangag na.
Bangag ang puta.
Walang armado. Hindi kami gumamit ng gas.
This is becoming a political Wala silang baril. Ni isang pulis, walang baril.
Tapos wala nakapagsabi sa kanya. Sabi niya, go to any human rights advocate. Yun na yung basis ng ng temporary protection order, ng writ of amparo. May mga rights na nasasagasaan sa pag-implement yun ng warrant of arrest. Hindi ba? Yun ang sinabi ko. Nagsusulat na ako ng ilang beses. Hindi ba? Kaya itong si Palsis, mali siya, di ba? Mali na si Palsis, di ba? Di ba? Ang sabi ko nga, yung in-explain ko, sinulat ko rin, kung nabasa nyo, ilang beses ko rin sinusulat, compelling state interest yung magsiserve ka ng warrant of arrest. Okay. It's a compelling state of interest. Kaso, dito kasi ang daming layers nito. At lahat yon binanggit ng Davao RTC. Freedom of religion, freedom of yung right to education, right to life, liberty, etc. Ang karapatan yun, hindi yung karapatan ni Kibuloy. Karapatan yun ng mga taong nandoon.
Correct.
Nandoon. Hindi lang isa yung na-violate mo. It is a congregation. Tapos meron pang religious place angle. Kasi, nadidisturb mo na yung observance nila ng religion nila eh.
Oo. Di sila nakasimba ng linggo.
Nung linggo. Tapos yung preparation pa. Saka, syempre hindi lang naman sila linggo. Meron pa silang paggawa niyan everyday, hindi ba? I'm pretty sure parang yung mga kumbento na meron silang religious duties everyday. Hindi ba? Tapos yung school pa, hindi na nakapag-exam, hindi na nakaganyan. So, ang dami mong nasagasaan na karapatan. Tapos, hindi mo pa nahuli. Wala kang saving grace.
True. Ayun. Oh, ayan. Ano ang masasabi ni Rodrigo? Ayan. Pero magpapaakyat tayo ha. Yung mga papakyatin natin, ililimit natin into 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes kung ano yung mga gusto mong i-share na topic ha. Para mas marami tayo makapag... Oo. Tapos, gigrade na talaga. Tapos dito para makapagpaakyat tayo ng kami. Ayan.
Okay, let's go, Rodrigo.
Hello, Rodrigo.
Good evening. I think that Sarah displayed today independence. Hello, can you hear me? She emancipated from traditional politicking because basically she cannot be considered whoever calculated. So good. I think today she
Rodrigo. Pangit yung audio mo, parang nagpuputol-putol.
How about...
Ayan, sige. Test mic ka.
Hello, test.
Ayan, sige, go.
Yun mga ma'am, para sa akin si VP Sara today, she displayed evidence from narrative na gusto nang makulong si Sara sa ganung narrative. Today, doon pa lang sa entrada kanina, wala nang mababato niya eh. So, traditional politicking, she cannot be calculated. And that
Ayan, oo. Tama ka naman doon. Madam, wala hindi pa ako kumakain. Kung kumakain ng meal, panay tinapay yung kinakain ko. Mong gigising dyan, halos wala silang kakampi dyan. Kimbo naiyak sa 11 days. Ano to? Kimbo naiyak sa 11 days sa OVP, pero sa Zona 20M, 2 hours pagkain, di siya naiyak.
Then, ang naiyak si Kimbo, yun yung possession niya, difficulty ng possession niya, na sabi niya, sinabi ko lang naman, wala namang plan. No rational person would put her life in that kind of plan. Kasi nga, di ba, grabe yung backlash kay Kimbo.
Oo.
Yun ang hindi siya prepared. Okay, Miss Gutierrez.
Hello, Miss Gutierrez.
Hi, Sas. Hi, Joey.
Hello po.
Gusto ko lang sabihin na nagustuhan ko yung unang tirada kagad ni VP na in-address niya yung issue. Then, ayun na, nag-ano na siya ng paulit-ulit niyang sagot dun sa Salute ako kay Sara today. Kasi nung sa Senado, medyo mahina pa siya ng konti. Actually, nung mga last 2 years niya, medyo na ko kay Sara na bakit ganito si Sara, parang hina. Hindi masyadong lumalaban, ganyan-ganyan. Tapos ngayong sa Congress siya, talagang she's Digong's daughter. Ganon.
Sabi ni, may question dito si AI. Anong masasabi nyo, Miss Joey, sa sinabi ni Sen Aimee na sumuko na si Pastor Kibuloy? Ayan. Gusto mo, sige, ikaw muna.
Well, alam nyo, again, I'm telling you, leave your emotions out of this. You are watching a high-level politics. Look at everything as if you're watching chess. As simple as that. Do not take, it's not personal. It's just politics. Okay? Yan ang mindset nyo ngayon. It's not personal. It's just a politics. Now, we are seeing everyone playing a huge game. Okay? Playing a huge game. Yung sinasabi ni Senator Aimee na sumuko na si Pastor Kibuloy.
Actually, sinabi rin naman ni PRRD yun.
Yeah. And ano rin kasi, pag sinabing sumuko na, it's because there is a warrant of arrest. Ano masasabi? Ano mang i-advise mo pag merong tao may warrant of arrest, magtago? Then you would be liable for lalo na public officials siya. So now, mag-open ngayon sila ng Senate investigation based on the RTC
decision.
Oo. Yung human rights violation.
Human rights abuses.
Human rights abuses.
Sino ang committee chair ng human rights sa...
Tatlo sila nag-team. Si Amy, si Bongo, at saka si De La Rosa.
Okay.
So ngayon, everything that's going to happen, watch it with a strategic eyes. Okay? Para hindi kaya sinabi namin ni Joey, di ba? This is going to be a long march. If you're going to take everything personally right now, hindi kayo aabot sa dulo.
Correct. Oo. So you have to keep your eyes on the prize. Be vigilant, be observant. Wag muna niyong dalin yung puso ninyo doon sa magdedesisyon kayo based on the buwiset that you feel. Ngayon, we need all the actions necessary in order to achieve our goal. At kung ano man yung gusto nating baguhin sa bansa natin. So,
kailangan. Oo, sas nakita ko. Kaya pala nanahimik lang alam mo na. Sinong si alam mo na? Inaano ko na nga kayo, di ba? Dapat nanood kayo ng aming lecture kagabi, no? Ang dami namin nag-uwi.
Ang daming participants. At ang number one argument, ang number one argument ay optics.
Kita mo ngayon, di ba sabi nila, ipagpapatuloy pa rin nila ang pag-search. Girl, kailangan mo ipagpatuloy. Kasi nga, di ba, sabi ko, ang pinaka-weakest ngayon dito sa strategic triangle ng Yellow Pinks, ng BBM faction at Duterte faction, it is the BBM faction. Ngayon, yung Yellow Pinks, ewan ko nabasa yung post ko. Sabi ko, ang Yellow Pinks, ang optimum ngayon nilang strategy is to question the independence of the RTC, Davao City, which they always do whenever there is a decision sa Davao.
Na favorable sa
And then, buyuin si BBM. Naku, hindi. I-challenge niyan. I-challenge niyan sa Court of Appeals, sa Supreme Court.
Parating nila yan sa Supreme Court.
Parating nila yan sa Supreme Court. Ngayon, ang ano nila dyan, bakit ginagawa yan ng Yellow Pinks? Because the Yellow Pinks know na BBM has already committed a mistake. Ngayon, ayaw nila magsalita ngayon. Kasi pag nagsalita ngayon sila, so parang, dadagdag ako sa power ng Duterte faction. Ngayon, nila, paabutin nyo ng Supreme Court, parang pagdating sa future, kita mo na itong Marcos na to, nag-violate ng
human rights.
Do you think they care na kay OJC yung violate? They don't.
They don't.
Ilang nila na nag-violate lang ng human rights. Parang yung mga akbayan, kaaway nila ang mga Makabayan Block, pero ginagamit nila yung issue ng human rights issue ng Makabayan Block. Pag may mga naman, may mga aktivista na naman pong na-violate ang human rights, ganyan. Ngayon, si BBM, he has to pagsubok to sa kanya kailangan mahuli niya si Kibuloy.
By hook or by crook?
By hook or by crook. Kaso, hindi niya na kaya itong gawin. Ngayon, kailangan ito i-challenge. Pero pag challenge siya to sa Supreme Court, at na mekos-mekos, na sinabing hindi gagrant na mali yung RTC sa pag-grant ng temporary protection order because everything was above board, Marcos 2.0.
Correct.
Oo, yun ang hudyat. So, hindi natin alam kung anong mangyayari kasi nakakahiya ito. Ano ka ngayon? Ang standing order ay yung RTC. Kung gusto mong i-overturn yan, akyat tayo. Tapos, ang Duterte faction, the best strategy of Duterte faction is, if you wait, is the art of war, Sun Tzu. If you wait by the river if you wait by the river long enough, you will see the bodies of your enemies float by. The river there is called time. Is the metaphor for time. Yes, na. So, ngayon kung may makikita nyo na, bakit nyo ginagawa? Sige to. Kasi hindi po sila katulad natin na nanonood lang. They are playing the game. Tayo, mirror. Okay?
Tayo nakiki-observe lang.
Observe lang tayo, nakikiyak tayo yung feelings natin, hindi ba? So, hayaan niyo sila. Kaya ako, as early as now, touch your heart from what's going on right now because enjoy the high-level political game. This must be the most exciting political game that you will ever witness in your lifetime. So, enjoy the show. Okay, nawala na yung si ate.
Tapos na rin yata si Miss Gutierrez. Ayan, thank you very much, Miss Gutierrez. Ayan, maraming may nag-comment nga dito, sabi para raw tayong naka-happy meal kay Inday Sara. Nakaka-happy daw yung ginawa ni Inday Sara today. Oo nga. Ayan, hello Summer Sense. Hello, Summer.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes po.
Ayun. So, it's all about yung emancipation kay Sara. Okay. So, ang tingin ko dyan, since hindi siya nabigyan ng budget, hindi na-approve, so wala na siyang legal obligation. Meaning, wala na, hindi na siya...
Ano pa lang naman po, Summersen, wala pang desisyon dun sa budget, dinefer pa. So, meron pang isang hearing dun sa budget niya.
Pero tingin ko doon na mapupunta yun eh. So, mawawalan siya ng legal obligation, hindi na siya magiging subject for audit. So, mababawasan yung trabaho niya. So, hindi na siya maano itong mga taong nakapaligid sa kanya. So, in a way, na-free siya sa scrutiny nitong mga taong nakapaligid sa kanya. Yun lang, that's my
to an extent, kung tatanggalin nila lahat ng mga humanitarian aspects ng OVP, then what is left is the payroll. At saka yung pambayad ng rent, yung mga yung PSN, yung bare budget na lang talaga in order for the office to to run. Kaso so you're just going to pay for the salary and of the people in the office of the vice president, and they're not going to have yung mga mga humanitarian works ng OVP. And so kagaya nung na-mention namin kanina, gagawin nilang Virgin Mary si Inday pagka ganun.
Totoo. Tsaka wala parang mali nga na move kasi kung talagang tatanggalin nila ng budget si Sara, so mangyayari dyan, wala na silang madidikdik kay Sara, wala na silang magagamit against her. Alam mo yun? So hindi na siya matuturot.
She's gonna be, she's gonna be immaculate.
Saka yung next budget hearing mo, salaries na lang. Bakla, ano pa i-clarify nyo dito? Nag-release naman ng salary ng mga government workers, DBM. Diretso yan sa diretso yung salary nila sa land bank.
Tama.
Payroll na lang yun eh.
Saka
HR manager na lang yung magde-defend. Pero kung naka-defend doon, naka-ano na yun, naka-determined na yung mga sweldo nila tsaka yung kung anong mga salary grade ng mga yan and benefits.
Tanggalan na lang nila ng budget si Sara para matahimik naman yung Ali. Makapagpahinga naman.
Bakit machi-checkmate si PRRD? Alam niyo ba ibig sabihin ng machi-checkmate si PRRD?
Hindi nila alam sinasabi.
Oo. So, tama si Summer Sense, no? Ito nga Summer Sense, kung nakikinig ka sa amin, napakinggan mo ba yung analysis? Hindi, ngayon lang. Yung ngayon.
Yung ngayon lang, oo.
Yung 2 scenarios kay Sara. It's either i-approve nila yung budget ni Sara ng ganon, kahit ganyan yung naging attitude ni Sara. Or i-punish nila si Sara at hindi i-approve yung mga budget na, tatanggalin na natin burial, yung ganito, ito lang titira namin sa'yo. Either way, panalo si Sara.
Correct. Win-win situation talaga kay Sara. Nagkamali sila sa ginawa nila kasi nakafocus sila kung paano nila gigipitin itong Ali na to.
And dahil nga yung mindset nila is,
sabi ko nga kanina si Sara may baon siyang 1 toneladang utak. Sila ang dami nila pero wala pang kalahating kilo yung binaon nilang brain neurons nila, iniwan sa bahay.
Ayan. True. Ayun. Anyway, ayan. So, and Summer Sense, thank you sa pag-share at pagpapakita tayo ng bago ulit para sa ating diskusyonan today. Maraming salamat.
Thank you.
Ayan. Thank you. Ayan. Hello, Raten.
Hi guys.
Ayan, again.
Okay lang audio ko kasi iba yung device na gamit ko ngayon.
Okay naman, oo.
Okay lang. Emancipation, actually, in-anticipate ko na yung emancipation after siya tumiwalag dun sa sa DepEd position.
Yeah, it's
kasi
expected.
Yun na yung direction, yung trajectory ng kanyang pag-alis sa orbit ng Marcos administration. Ang pinaka parang highlight dun sa mga budget hearings is that parang naaalala ko dati yung Sara na nang bugbog. Not in a negative optic pero yung parang firm, yung parang ganun. So gusto nyong karantaduhan yung yung laro, then she came strong and she came very convicted dun sa gusto niyang she was fulfilling the role and her mandate, and she's even repeating it back at the Senate hearing yung kung ano yung elected obligation niya to fulfill the office. And for me, it just goes to show na if we don't do our jobs, then kayo ang magmumukhang kawawa. So parang kasi yan parang lumalabas na kung sino yung may professional image ang mananatili si Inday Sara kasi she is the one sticking to her oath doon sa pag-assume niya ng role ng Vice President. Gaguhan yung kanina, parang palengke lang yung the way, yung mga demeanor ng At saka feeling ko natatakot yung mga representatives na bumalik yung angas ni Inday Sara, yung kagaya ng pagsuntok sa sheriff. Kasi truth be told, they might paint it as a negative thing, pero pag ikaw sa sobrang galit mo and sa sobrang mo, yung parang sobrang really passionate for kasi hindi naman niya sinuntok yung sheriff back in the day for her own benefit. It's for the benefit of peace. Yeah, it's for the benefit of peace and order. Kaya nga mas yung mga taga Davao like me, mas naiintindihan ko yung purpose ng pagsuntok niya kaysa yung sa pagsuntok mismo. So for me, let her be free, liberate all the shackles kasi and I think in this time moving forward, I think she will be a lot more active, especially in terms of like getting to say.
She is actually free, no? She is actually emancipated because of the fact that she doesn't care. Wala siyang, hindi naman niya kinokovet yung presidency. Hindi niya kinokovet yung national possession. She was asked to run with these people, di ba? With this.
That was the invite.
So ngayon na binabalahura siya, she can actually do whatever she wants because in the first place, hindi naman niya inask ito, di ba? Hindi naman niya hindi naman niya parang niluhuran yung kung ano yung meron siya ngayon. And now, ayun nga, dahil nga yung ginugurguro siya, pinag-iinitan siya and whatnot. So, it's actually very easy for her to do what she is doing right now. So, Inday Sara understood na ang commitment niya sa tao, na ang kailangan niyang gawin yung mga pinangako niyan during the election. Now, if you're not going to allow Inday Sara to do it, dun sa mga bumoto sa kanya, dahil ayaw niyong bigyan ng budget, ayaw niyong tulungan ng kanyang opisina, ayaw niyo i-accommodate ang kanyang mga humanitarian programs, then what else to do? Inday Sara is also not scared na di ba, na ma-zero dyan sa budget and whatnot. Mas nakakataka nga na kung kunwari naka-zero si Inday, wala siyang humanitarian programs, yung mga ayuda-ayuda and whatnot, ganyan-ganyan. Pagkatapos, the rest of the politicians meron, di ba?
Yun nga yung parang, Ma'am Joy, before ko lang
what if Inday Sara, despite the fact na walang budget ang kanyang opisina, what if she pulls it through?
Yeah,
that ways on how to make it work. Di ba?
Real surprise, like, neck nyo, mga sakim sa pera or sa budget. Ma'am Joy, before ako bababa, meron na akong nakitang comment na like nag-moral high horse about sa pagsuntok na mali pa rin daw yun, wag daw itama ang mali. Actually,
hindi, okay lang. Sobrang kupal.
Like I am in the position to say it kasi taga Davao ako. Like, you wouldn't know the impact pag hindi niya yun sinuntok ang sheriff kasi the squatters there who are in the verge of losing their house would really fight to the death. So there's more blood on Inday Sara's hands pag hindi niya sinuntok yun. Yes. So the moral conflict there is choose the lesser evil. At saka pina-attend niya. There is a medical care that was given to the sheriff after he was punched.
Saka hindi niyo alam, i-pull out na hanapin mga Joey, no? Yung Ministrong Joey. Pakihanap ang talata. Hanapin mo yung statement ni Sara, no? Yung may gustong maglakad nung disbarment case niya sa...
wait. Yung kay Maidas yan, di ba?
Oo. Alam niyo, interview ko na si Sara dyan. So, mas magandang ipalabas uli. Sabi ni Sara, paulit-ulit yung sinabi, na tinanong ko si Sara, sabi ko doon sa interview ko, what is your defining moment as a mayor? Kung ibang politician yan, anong isasagot?
Siyempre, all the flamboyant stuff.
Yung nakapagpatayo ako ng ganito, nakapagpatayo ako ng meals, ganyan. Alam mo sabi niya, sagot ni Sara, yung sa sheriff. Sabi ko, nagulat nga ako, parang, puta, hindi ko nga itatanong yun eh. Hindi ko nga itatanong yun kung saan nanuntok siya sa sheriff eh. Tapos, biglang, sabi niya na, yun ang kanyang defining moment as a mayor. Can you imagine?
Ma'am Joy, I really applaud her for her intervention. Kasi, dalawang crisis yung nangyari sa city yun. Nag-aayuda sila from the flood victims on the other end of the city and then yung demolition. So, it goes to show that she is just really frustrated about the situation happening left and right. And for me, it goes to show na tao yung leader natin. Hindi siya yung parang nagmo-moral high horse, buhaya. Yung kunyari honorable daw kunyari. Pero she really went down and dirty along with the people. So para sa akin yun yung defining talaga na mayor, yung marunong talaga na maging empathic dun sa mga constituents nila. Yun lang po, ma'am. Don't worry na po sa grade. Happy na po ako. Sige po.
Hindi, walang grade nga.
Walang grade na lang. Sige po, more power. Makikinig lang ako sa background. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you, Raten.
Okay, bye-bye.
Ayan. Hello, Carlo. Teka, ano ko lang before ka magsalita, Carlo, wait lang. Para hindi maubos yung ano yung ano mo. Ito yung statement ni Inday Sara. Statement by Mayor Sara Duterte on the withdrawal of disbarment case filed against her. Ayan. So, this was in September 19, 2018. It has come to my attention that certain individuals are talking to the petitioners and witnesses in the disbarment case filed against me, asking them to withdraw their complaint. Behind this is an individual who is seeking appointment as a justice of the Supreme Court. This person has been trying to spin my case to get a favorable ruling, hoping that I may take notice of him. This individual should take note that I do not have a hand in Supreme Court appointments. That is beyond my authority as mayor of Davao City. The Office of the President should think twice in appointing this individual to be a justice, more so a Chief Justice. He clearly lacks the virtues of honor, justice, and fairness, so the public may know. I have never asked any complainant or witness to withdraw their disbarment case against me, and I have always maintained that I will face the consequences of my actions on that fateful day of July 1, 2011. Please do not believe individuals making representations on my behalf. Thank you. Sorry, hindi pala pinangalanan ni Inday si Maidas. At saka si Maidas, siya yung chismis na pinapatungkulan ni Inday at that time. Ayun. Teka, search nga natin na Maidas. If inamin ba ni Maidas na siya yon? Maidas.
Oo. Tapos ipapalabas mo to, Joey. Yan, nandiyan na sa
Duterte. Disbarment. Okay. Yeah, so later on, na pinangalanan naman pala, Sara Duterte opposes Maidas Marquez Supreme Court bid. Ni-report ni Rappler. Okay. So pinangalanan naman pala ni Rappler.
At si Maidas Marquez ngayon. Supreme Court Justice na ba si Maidas Marquez?
Yeah, oo.
At parang yan ang nilalakad na susunod na maging.
Ay, talaga ba? Ayan, asan na yung... Ayan. So, pinangalanan pala later on. Ayan, nireport naman ng Philstar, ng Rappler, Inquirer, stop meddling in my disbarment case. Ayan. Ayan. So, pinangalanan naman pala rin eventually. Doon sa statement, hindi pinangalanan ni Inday. Ayan. Okay. Ayan. Hello, Carlo.